Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Napick. Every week we talk about success and everything that goes along with it. You'll learn the principles of success, how to achieve success, and learn to overcome challenges that may be getting in the way of success in your life. You'll hear from Bill Napick, a radio personality and business development expert, along with insight from special guests. If you're ready to find your path to success or take the success you're enjoying to the next level, stay tuned. Successful Living with Bill Napick is on right now.
And welcome to Successful Living with Bill Napick. And today with Jim Martin, Executive Director with a Palm Restaurant here in Houston, and Chad Lipson, the General Manager. Gentlemen, thank you and welcome to the show.
Bill, it's great to be back. Thank you so much for inviting us again.
And one of my favorite topics, and I know the listeners indeed love to talk about food, and they also like to get an insight into a great restaurant like the Palm. In fact, a legendary restaurant. Just remind everybody, Jim, the Palm in Houston opened up what year?
We opened up in 1978, August 5th, 1978. Opened up to a booming crowd, and we had leaders of business, we had sports figures, we had celebrities here, and it was a great start, and we're still going after 38 years.
And you must be doing so many things right, and that's the beauty of a great restaurant like the Palm. You have consistency, you take the systems and you greet the people, you build the relationships, and I bet, Jim, some of the people back on that opening day still come to the Palm here many years later.
We have so many repeat customers. I'm working on third generation now. I have families that come in with the grandfathers and the fathers, and now the young kids coming. So it's really rewarding. It's a nice feel. It's a family restaurant. It really is.
It is awesome. Now, Chad, tell people here at the Palm some of the things that you think about. Let's get right to one of the most important things. There's so many important things. Boy, you have to have the great food, of course. But let's talk about the menu, kind of some of the philosophy that goes behind any restaurant's menu. But tell us about what goes into the thinking from your point of view as a general manager.
I think first and foremost is layout. You have to have something that appeals to a broad audience, and you don't want to make it just very single-sided. One of the great things about the Palm is we're known for our steaks, our Italian dishes, and our lobsters. We have a lot of different areas that cover under entree. Also, our appetizers, we're not just one-sided. You have to have some beef options, some vegetarian options, and then some seafood options.
And as we start like that, I'm already getting hungry because you mentioned all of those things happen to be my favorites. And the fact that you have beef, the seafood dishes, the Italian dishes, everybody has a favorite in those categories, and that just makes it so exciting. Tell us some more about what goes into that thinking, Chad.
I think it comes down to, Bill, if Jim or I were to design a menu that just appealed to us, we'd be very single-sided in our thinking, and we would not probably do the most business. We want something that appeals to a broad audience. And as the Palm started off as an Italian restaurant and then brought in the steaks and then brought in the lobsters, one of our greatest parts of our menu is our Italian dishes. The chicken parm, the veal parm, just all the dishes that we do with that.
And I remember Jim telling us the story about how many people don't know that it started as an Italian restaurant and it evolved from there to be the great place to come for all the varieties of food. But in each thing you do so well. I want to tell you this, as I have been going to restaurants for many years, and I used to travel for a long, long time, so I would eat out more than I do now. But the thing that I liked about going to a restaurant as I first discovered it, or I would go back because I liked it, is when I look at a menu for the first time, I look at it, and if I have a hard time deciding which meal to get, I know I'm at the right place because I'll say, hey, tonight I'm going to have this, but I want to come back tomorrow and the next day and get some of these other items, because people get excited about what's offered on a menu.
Yes, they do. And not to mention having a great staff that can guide you through the whole menu and even cater the menu to your needs.
Anytime that you ask your server, or I've asked a server, and I'll say, especially if I'm new in town, I would say, hey, what is really good on the menu? And I'll tell you one thing I hate, what a lot of them say. I don't know if Jim's already said. They're going to say, well, it depends
everything.
What you like. Or they'll say everything. Or they'll say it depends what you like. And let me tell you, when I ask that question, I like a lot of things. I kind of want to know what's special about the restaurant I'm in. So that answer always leaves me wanting more from the server.
Sure. I know when it comes to me coming to the Palm with entrees anyways, for our steaks, it's always going to be a New York strip. For a lobster, how can you go wrong with a 4-pound lobster? And then for our Italian dishes, the chicken parm, I think, is second to none. Is absolutely delicious.
And I want to say it again. I know we did it the last show, but the veal martini, sometimes people don't know how good that is. That the flavors that are in that dish just are like a July 4th where so many things are going off flavor-wise. Veal martini. All right, tell us about, now, the idea of the menu. We've got an idea there, but tell us about the difference between the lunch menu and the dinner menu. Because psychologically, as the restaurateur, there's different things that you think about as you offer those things to your customers.
You know, one of the things with lunch is we get a lot of business people in here, so we have to have a menu that I would not say is simple to make, but is quick and easy so people can get back to work in their lunch period. So we have a lot of salads with just steak or fish on top of it. We have some sandwiches, and also we still do our steaks and lobsters, but we want to make a menu that is absolutely great so you can still come here in a half hour, have a great experience, and get back to work on time.
And to have the high quality food in the right amount of time, that's so important. In fact, I was here on one of your specials. I don't know if you have it every week, but Monday you had a special a couple weeks ago where it was $10 hamburgers.
We were, yes, we're actually running it for every Monday of this month, and it's been going over great. We try to do different pop-up specials all the time. We've done 4-pound lobster pop-ups, prime rib pop-ups. We're working on an Italian night pop-up coming up. We want to keep it fresh, and we want to keep adding to our menu. Just like our soups change every day, our fish special changes every day. We want to do something every week that just appeals to our guests.
And of course, I talk to you guys on a regular basis, but let's tell people the other reason I was reminded of that is I'm on your email list. So if someone, Chad, wants to get on your email list to know about these specials, what should they do?
When you make a reservation with us, we'll ask you for your email address, and that automatically puts you on the list. Or when you come in, sign up for our 837 Club, which is our membership club to get you points and rewards and lobster on your birthday.
Now, as we talk about menus, Jim, you have been here again since the day the Palm Houston opened. But give us an idea, how has the menu evolved through these many years in terms of even dinner and lunch?
We have changed as people's eating habits have changed. We've put some lighter fare on for the health-conscious people. We've put more salads on, particularly at lunchtime, so groups can come in and walk out of here not feeling stuffed. A lot of women are health-conscious, men too now. So we've put a lot more salads on. Fish has become a huge player in the market. When we first opened up, the Palm was primarily steaks and lobsters. But we have such great fish, and we fly the fish in daily. We Federal Express our fish in on a daily basis, so it's not out of the water more than 24 hours.
And what strikes me as a regular Palm customer through these many years, I was on your 837 Club when it started, back, I think, in the 90s. Is that right? But in any case, as a regular customer, it's interesting to see how the menus have evolved. And I notice those things because you are a company that is nationwide, I think about 25 locations. Mm-hmm. So what you do at one, menu-wise, I guess you do at the other. Is that true?
Pretty much true. On the dinner menu, we try to keep it the same so that when you eat here, you would get the same type of meal and the same type of ambiance, whether you be in Chicago, Miami, or New York. Lunchtime, we mix it up a little bit. Lunchtime, we will cater to the area that we're in. Fish seems to be a huge item down here. We use oysters down here. A lot of our restaurants don't. So we try to tailor it. And of course, we have customers that ask us for certain specials or certain dishes, and they become popular, and we incorporate them into our menu. Thursdays, we do a meatloaf. It's
a meatloaf, huh?
A meatloaf. I would have never put a meatloaf on, but I have customers that ask for it, and we sell it out every Thursday.
That's fascinating.
It's great.
And see, what I'm thinking of is through these years as a big company, relatively speaking, right? It's a big company, but yet you've changed through the years in a certain way where it's not dramatic change regarding menu items and things like that, but it sounds like it's evolved, and you take great care to listen to the feedback from your clients, not just here in Houston, but nationwide.
It's very important. The customer dictates really what happens in a restaurant. All we do is provide service and a warm, friendly atmosphere and good quality food. Quality food, people recognize quality, they like consistency, and that's the reason we have such a strong base of customers. And we're adding to it all the time.
Quality is so important, and that's the nice thing. And even as we talked about some of the specials, we mentioned that hamburger special on Monday. When I looked at it, I said, hey, $10, that's great. When I looked at the regular price, $15, that's always great too. There's nothing wrong with that. When you come to the Palm, a restaurant like this, you know you're always getting the top quality, whatever the price is.
Top quality, and we try to be sensitive when it comes to pricing. The business in Houston is very good right now, but one sector of our economy is taking a big hit, and that's the oil business. People are being laid off. There's less money being spent in that area. So we try to accommodate that. We try to watch our pricing and be sensitive to it.
And I want to remind people, too, we are here, Palm, Houston, right now. In fact, we are in what I'm going to call the Palm recording studio. It is called the Oil Drum. So if you're out there, it's the greatest. So if you're out there listening, you can go to the YouTube channel. You could see us here. And the Oil Drum is the corner table. It's round. It speaks of the industry you're talking about. That's a little bit slow right now, although I just filled my car up, and it's higher than it was last week, so I guess it's on the rise. But that's so great. When we do this remote recording live from your restaurant, it's nice because we can hear the sounds in the background, and people can't tell this, but I could smell the food just in the few minutes we're here. I noticed that the lunchtime crowd, different dishes are coming out, and I could actually smell them, and that's what makes it fun to record here. One of the things.
And this does make for a perfect recording studio. Glad we're able to do it here. On top of the menu, I think one of the great things about the Palm is the hospitality of our staff. I think the servers, bartenders, and just our whole staff makes a big difference.
Indeed it does. And also going back to the longevity of this restaurant in Houston, Chad, boy, it's got to be hard for any business to find the right help. How do you do that? What do you look for someone that's going to be on the team here in Palm, Houston?
We have a very good training program that we can train anyone to be a great server, but attitude and hospitality are two things that we cannot train.
So right off the bat, they have to have the great attitude and have a heart for hospitality, right?
You're 100% right on that. As far as the mechanics of serving, the menu knowledge, wine knowledge, we can train all that. We basically hire for hospitality and attitude.
And I think, too, people have to have those that are serving, those that greet the customer when they come, even to the valet to some degree, and that is when you work with someone in any profession and everyone's different. So one of the things people have to do is kind of read people pretty quickly, because I go back to just the traveling experience. Sometimes when you're by yourself and you just want to have a nice meal, you want to have that great meal, but you also want to be able to leave quickly or not be there too long because you're not there talking with someone. So that server, taking the case of the server, has to kind of read each group, each individual that comes in, and that's an art.
You're 100% right on that. It's the ability to be able to engage when a table wants you to, or to be alone and have silent service.
That's right, the discernment, and that, I don't know if you can train that, Chad, or that's something where someone just has to have that feel. What do you think about that, Jim? That discernment of how much do you engage, or do you know if they want you to engage to what level?
Well, that's a knack that comes with experience. Our management team watches our floor very, very carefully. So, I've been reading people for 40 years, and Chad's been doing it for many, many years. I can generally look at a table and see it's a business meeting, it's social, there's one or two people, and they're having a quick meeting, they want to get out. If the weighted doesn't pick up on that right away, we'll help them with that. We'll blow in their ear and make them aware of it. This is a business that doesn't run itself. It has to be managed, and occasionally it has to be micromanaged.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good point you bring up, because it's not just up to that one server or even the few servers that may be helping. It takes a team, and each one of us have different days, and sometimes our powers of perception may not be what they were yesterday. Today we may be having an off day. I know I do.
Yeah, when you say a team, it definitely is a team effort, because the kitchen has to put the food out as quickly as they can. And there's nights when it gets very, very busy and they're under pressure. If I see a table that needs to get service, I'll get back in there, or Chad will jump back in there, and we'll help expedite it. I mean, it's about the customer experience. It's not just about great food. We want them to leave here with a wow, not just it was good. I want a wow factor.
That's right. And always when people have dinner, let's say a couple has dinner, and they talk to their friends the next day, hey, what'd you guys do last night? Oh, we were at the Palm, and it was fantastic. And that's what you're going for, right? You don't want them to say, hey, we were at the Palm, and yeah, it was okay. No doubt about it. So it's interesting, and I could see with the team members here and yourselves, that's one of the things that I could tell that they do. All the times I've been here, it's been like that. Essential for a restaurant to have that.
That's one thing that we talk about a lot in our pre-shift meetings with our staff, is the word of mouth. That's the best advertising you can possibly get. You give someone an absolutely fantastic experience, they're going to go and talk about it the next day. And also, on the other hand, if they don't have the greatest experience, they're going to do the same.
And let's talk about that from a challenge standpoint. Every once in a while, something's going to, the machine is going to have a hiccup, something's going to go wrong. So when that happens and it comes to your attention, Chad, as the general manager, what protocols go into place, or what do you do? How do you handle that situation?
I think every situation's different, and you have to be able to read the situation. I go for the main goal at the end of every single one, and that's to get a handshake and say thank you very much at the end of the meal from the guest. We're going to overcook a steak. We're going to undercook something. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. But we will do whatever it takes to recover, make it up, and make sure the guest still leaves having a fantastic experience.
Now, as someone that, when you eat out at other restaurants, let's say you're on vacation or something, you go to another restaurant, and let's say it's a great restaurant or one that is like the Palm in terms of atmosphere, what do you do when you have a situation where, the steak wasn't just right or something's not right in the meal? How do you handle that situation as the customer when it's reversed?
When it's reversed, I get asked this question a lot. And my honest answer to this one is if a manager or the server asks me how the meal is, I'll be very honest. If it's not asked of me, I won't say anything. So
each individual is different, yes.
And that's what we're really big about with the Palm, is getting a manager over to every single table. Is we want to know. We want the ability to fix it. It doesn't matter. We want the guest to leave happy.
Indeed. Now, Jim just used an expression that I guess is a restaurant expression, but I like that because you said that you, as the management, you touch each one of the tables, so you're always mindful of who comes and goes, and that the table you have to make contact. Tell people what that is.
We go to every table. We try. When I say touch the table, I don't mean just go over and say hello, how is everything. I try to interact with the table. I try to get their real feeling on it. Sometimes people are reluctant when they eat out if their steak wasn't perfect and they're with guests. They're a little bit reluctant sometimes to say something. They don't want to embarrass their guests, but I try to pull it out of them. I can generally tell when I ask somebody, how was your dinner this evening? I want a big smile, and it was great. If I get an okay, something's wrong. If I get an okay, something's wrong at that table. and I try to. The reaction of the management team and the restaurant is key. I think most situations can be fixed in a restaurant if you react quickly. Get in there, and that only happens by keeping an eye on what's going on. So therefore, when you come in any night of the week, either Chad's on the floor walking around, I'll be walking around, and Sometimes we bump into one another out there, but you have to keep an eye on the tables. This restaurant does not. Any restaurant should not run on autopilot.
That's right. And I want to say that as a customer, when I'm a customer at a restaurant and I taste something I really like, it's just my personality. Not everyone's like me, but I'll tell the server, hey, boy, that veal was really good. Or you guys are really doing something with that veal. Now, I was here not that long ago, and I had the New York strip, I had the Caesar salad, and the lobster. And I got to tell you, I could comment
How do you say so thin?
I have to work out. But I got to tell you, each one of those items and parts of the dinner, unbelievable. And I spoke of it. I said, wow, this lobster is tender, it's moist, it's
I love
succulent.
that. You know, Bill, I love that because when a customer tells me that they had a great dinner and they particularly liked the dish or their service was great, I'll go right to that server and thank them. I'll go to the kitchen and thank them for what they do. I pass it on. We share things here as a team. It's all about communication, and it's all about enjoying what you do.
And Chad said earlier about having a meeting. Is that every day that you guys open, you have like a little gathering and talk about what's going to happen that day in case there's the bigger crowd coming in or whatever? But what are the things you do to keep people enthused and to keep everybody on the same game plan?
I think it all comes down to delivering the proper message. You know, if you're praising your staff, you have a great staff, you hired them, you trained them correctly, they're doing their job. We talk about all of our wins, all of our great guest feedback that we get, and also we talk about some key areas that we're focusing on. I think it comes down to just proper communication with the staff. We do 2 meetings a day, one before lunch and one before dinner. We'll talk about specials and ongoing things, private parties, and then just other key areas of focus.
Well, that sounds great, guys. Let's tell people how to get to the website, and I think you also have a Facebook page. Is that right?
We have a Facebook page. It's the Palm Houston. Our website is thepalm.com. You can go on there and make reservations. Actually, if you go on the Palm website, the national website, you can get the reservations and contacts and locations for the entire country.
And also that you could direct them right to the Palm Houston for the reservation or any info they need.
Make the reservation right there. And of course, our phone number is 713-977-2544.
Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Jim Martin, Executive Director. And he opened the doors right here in the Palm Houston. I want to say another thing as I'm thinking about lunch. I talked about that $10 hamburger, but guess what? You've had it for a long time, the business lunch, I think you call it. And that business lunch, what is it, Chad? $25? You can pick an entree. You can get one of the great salads, like I always get the Caesar salad, and a dessert and a side dish. Was it $25 or $27? I forget.
$26.
26. Holy smokes! So I want to remind everybody, boy, think about the Palm for the special occasion, a special dinner, any weeknight. But boy, the lunches are killer here. Well, Chad, before we conclude, I mean, I could talk about food for hours. I'm an enthusiast of the Palm and great food. What else should we know, Chad, before we sign off? Tell them how they can reach us here at the Palm.
Please like us on Facebook. You can follow, keep up with our updates, and also go to thepalm.com.
Super cool, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Once again, it's always great to be successful living. Every now and then we have to have, well, all the time we have to have great food, so come to the Palm. Thank you, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Successful Living with Bill Napick, and today with Jim Martin, the Executive Director of the Houston Palm, and Chad Lipson, General Manager. Until next week, thanks for listening.
That went by fast.